Hey guys, welcome to the channel at the end of the universe. The year is nearly over. Perhaps I shouldn't say this because there's still 2 days left and a lot can happen in 2 days. People can die, wars can be started, animals can go extinct, who knows? 2016 was not a very good year. We lost David Bowie, Prince, Leonard Cohen, Alan Rickman, Harper Lee, George Michael, Carrie Fisher, and her mom, Debbie Reynolds. I mean, I know that everybody dies. I know that it's not, statistically speaking, it hasn't been a worse year in terms of deaths. But on top of that, we had Aleppo, Brexit, the US elections, terrorist attacks everywhere. Overall, I feel happy that the year is over. Although, to be fair, I always feel happy that the year is over all of my life. I don't know what that says about my life. Okay, let's move on. Because it's the end of the year, I thought I would make a video with a list of things that I liked about this year in terms of geeky things, because that's what we're here to celebrate, right? I've already made a video about my favorite video games of the year, so if you haven't seen it, I will leave a link in the description. With no further ado, let's dive into it. First category, television series. This is easily the geeky category of things that I'm worst at, and it drives my friends absolutely insane. I have never watched Walking Dead. I read the comics, I hated them, I wanted everybody to die. I haven't watched Game of Thrones. I read the first couple of books. I know that everybody dies, whether I wanted them to or not. It's the opposite of The Walking Dead. Even things like Lost or Breaking Bad, I haven't watched them. I know this is bad of me. When I do start watching them, I get completely absorbed. That is an euphemism for obsessed. Anyway, my favorite this year, by default, but I think it would have won in any case, is Westworld. If you love making or playing video games, you have to watch Westworld. It's a vision of a world, of a future world, where things are designed according to video game logic. That's not all it is, of course. It has many interesting questions about morality and ethics. But to me personally, it's all related to debates that we are already having regarding video games. What does it mean when a player makes a choice? Does who you are inside the game reflect who you are outside of the game? Is violence against something that looks human but is not exactly human still violence? Can we tell the difference when we're enacting that violence? There's all kinds of interesting questions and it's beautifully shot. There's Anthony Hopkins, there's Ed Harris, Evan Rachel Wood, and everyone is just so perfect, and I really recommend this show. This is my recommendation to you if you haven't watched it yet. Please let me know what you would recommend to me in terms of TV shows, because all of the recommendations that I get right now from my friends are like, watch this or I will murder you. I love my friends. Next category, books. According to Goodreads, I have read a total of 129 books this year. Seriously, 129. I couldn't have read one more. My problem well, first world problem, is that while I read a lot of books that came out this year, none of them really wowed me. My favorite book that I read this year was Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, and that came out in, I don't know, 2011, 2012, something like that, so it doesn't count. As someone who likes video games, I really enjoyed reading this book called Where Futures End by Parker Peavyhouse. It's a fantasy book that follows a story throughout various times in the future. Even though the story itself, the plot, could be better, especially the ending, which made me a little I loved how the author imagined the future. She describes a future where everyone has mixed reality headsets, similar to the HoloLens, I guess. And what it does is superimpose a game layer onto the real world. So you still see the physical world, but it's just been turned into a game, and some places you can't go in unless you have certain items. So it was such a cool idea, and I really enjoyed reading this book just for the world building. The last category is film. Ever since moving to the UK, I haven't really watched a lot of films because it's really expensive. I saw one film in Exeter, which was Deadpool, that was worth it. My top 3 were Deadpool, Star Wars Rogue One, and Doctor Strange. Deadpool was really fun. Doctor Strange was a great superhero movie, and Rogue One, I have to say that at first I felt like it was a good story, but did it really need to be told? Now that I've had some time to think about it, it really did need to be told. It's different from the usual Star Wars format. It's more sober and less black and white. I also like how it featured ordinary people with ordinary abilities. They weren't Jedis, their only extraordinary trait was how much faith they had in what they believed in what they were doing. The whole film is about how powerful you can become and how much of a difference you can make when you believe that you are doing the right thing. I guess that if people want to keep making money out of Star Wars, which they do, at least they are doing something original instead of derivative. Yeah, Rogue One is my choice for my favorite film of the year. So those were my favorites of 2016. As always, I'm curious to hear what you think. What were your favorite things this year? Is there anything that in particular that you think that I should have watched or read? I hope you have a great start to the new year, and I really hope that 2017 will be a better year for everybody. I mean, for you and me personally and everybody we know, and also the world, because in the grand scheme of things, we're not that important, but the world is. So here's to 2017. I will see you guys in the new year. Bye!